Hello, I'm Yan Yan. I'm in Huizhou, Guangdong Province. Today, I'll tell you the story of the Ye clan, a famous Hakka clan who migrated from northeast Guangdong Province to Huizhou in early Qing Dynasty. There are many famous people from this Ye clan. One of them is Yap Ah Loy, who played an important role in early development of Kuala Lumpur. And this is his ancestral house, 叶雅来故居. Let's start from his story. Yap Ah Loy was born in this house in 1837. Now it becomes a museum to display his story. On the wall is the timeline of Yap Ah Loy's lifetime, including his days and achievements in Kuala Lumpur. Yap Ah Loy laid the foundation for Kuala Lumpur to emerge as what it is today, but there's very little information about him on the internet, so I feel I should tell you more about this exhibition. In 1855, at age 17, Yap Ah Loy left home for Malacca. 7 years later, he went to Kuala Lumpur to work as the assistant of the second Captain China. In 1869, Yap Ah Loy officially became the third Captain China of Kuala Lumpur. The next year, the Selangor Civil War erupted. Yap Ah Loy and his people fought back invaders to recover Kuala Lumpur, but the town became ground zero after the war. Tin mines were destroyed. Yap Ah Loy didn't give up. He took up loans to rebuild the tin mining settlements. He built factories and basic infrastructures for the residents. He also built the first Chinese school and charitable homes for the sick and the elderly. This was the street of Kuala Lumpur during his days. Today, Kuala Lumpur's Chinatown is still named after the cassava starch factory Yap Ah Loy built in that area. Nearby is a street named after him. In 1879, Yap Ah Loy handed the power to the British. Yap Ah Loy planned to return to China after he retired, so he built a house right next to his ancestral house. It's a typical Hakka wood house. The house looks like a castle with watchtowers in the corners. It was not open to public when I was there, but it's quite similar to the Hakka wood houses in Shenzhen and Hong Kong that I've introduced in earlier videos. Yap Ah Loy never lived in this house. He died in Kuala Lumpur at age 47. This house was finished 4 years after his death. 11 years after the death of Yap Ah Loy, a boy was born in the same village who became a household name in China. In 1927, Ye Tingkou led the Nanchang Uprising, which is regarded as the birth of People's Liberty Army. In 1938, again in my home city Nanchang, he became the commander of the new Fourth Army, which was the predecessor of PLA. Chairman Mao once said to him, "You are CCP's first commander. Our army's history started from you." I studied a bit more about this clan and found a fascinating story. The Ye clan started from two brothers who moved from the traditional Hakka area in northeast Guangdong Province in 1662. They named their new home Zhoutian Village, which implied the expansion of land and the growth of population. A few years later, the expansion of land and growth of population plan was implemented. The group divided up property and separated. The younger brother stayed with his family in Zhoutian village. That's where Yap Ah Loy and Ye Ting were born. Some clansmen moved south. The older brother settled down 5 kilometers away. After the family of the elder brother settled down here, they started to build houses. These two houses, this one and then the earthen one, were among the earliest houses they built. The houses are facing Zhoutian village. A small river flows in front of the houses. The older brother planted wanchi, a type of bamboo, by the river. Today, this place is still named after this plant.
The Ye clan regarded this house as their ancestor house, and it's actually a quite famous house here. It's famous for this stone dog erected in front of the house, and the house is named after it, 石狗屋. The stone dog is as old as this house.
The first house comprised of just 2 rows of rooms, simple but enough to accommodate the early settlers. It was torn down a century later, and the stone dog house was built on the same site by the descendants. Next to the stone dog house is the house built by the second son of the older brother. The stele says old house. Since the first house was torn down to build the stone dog house, this became the oldest existing house of the clan. From the second house on, the clan chose to build the traditional Weilong house, a type of Hakka house common in Ye clan's hometown in northeast Guangdong Province. Weilong house has one or several arched buildings at the back and a Belgian backyard. This is the exterior wall of the arched building. It's completely destroyed inside. The older brother had 5 sons. Each son had a house. Among the 5 houses, the one built by the third son was the largest. This house took 20 years to finish. The third son was only 8 years old when the clan moved here. The little boy grew up to be the most capable son of the older brother. The wooden plaque says, "The general's house." The third son was a general. He built this house at age 40. This couplet says the clan started from 2 brothers, and the 2 sub-clans are a big family. Although the 2 brothers lived apart, the descendants of the 2 brothers are united and view themselves as the same clan. The house has a watchtower in each corner, like the one Yap Ah Loy built. What's interesting is it actually has a Weilong house in the inner ward. This is the arched building and the Belgian backyard. The house was built in 2 stages. Initially, it was a Weilong house. At some point, the house was expanded. 4 watchtowers were added in the corners, and one was built in the rear building. It became a ward house. 30 years later, the youngest son of the general built an even bigger house to the west of this house. Another 30 years later, the 4th generation built another big house. At the same time, the stone dog house replaced the first house. On the wall of the stone dog house has a distribution of the descendants of the older brother. They're basically around those big houses. On the younger brother's side, things also went well. The younger brother had 5 grandsons, each had many offspring. The descendants also built many houses in Zhoutian village and the surrounding areas. The ancestral house of General Yeting was one of them. This house was built in 1825, 60 years after the stone dog house was built. It's different from the houses on the older brother side in that each unit has its own courtyard and more privacy. This is typical Cantonese style. In the north of Zhoutian village stands a special house. While keeping the basic features of Hakka wood house, it incorporated Western elements such as glazed balustrade and big arched windows. This house was built in 1930s. The owner of the house was a military official. Starting from the third son of the older brother, the Ye clansmen had the tradition of pursuing the military career. In 100 years from the Opium War to the War of Resistance against Japan, many commanders emerged from this clan. I also visit the third location of this Ye clan. There is a house built in late 19th century by clansmen who worked with Yap Ah Loy while in Malaysia and later on returned home.
This house was built by clansmen from Malaysia in late 19th century. It has the same style as the Hakka wood houses in Shenzhen and Hong Kong. The Cantonese style gables and the path on the roof. From the houses of the Ye clan, we can see the evolution from Hakka Weilong house to Hakka wood house and the influence of coastal style.
While exploring Hakka wood houses in Shenzhen, which is bordering Danshui, I also discovered a special house built in late 19th century by clansmen of the Ye clan. Hakka wood house usually has one story with a loft, but this wood house has two stories. Another unique feature is this gatehouse.
The entrance of this Hakka wood house is a little different from other more typical ones. It's much deeper and it has its own courtyard.
It's the only time I see the Cantonese layout adopted in the gatehouse of Hakka wood house. Next to the house was a school built for the young men in the family. The ultimate secret of any Chinese clan to grow and prosper is to invest in education. As early as 1760, the third and fourth generation of the clansmen built a boarding school for the descendants of the clan. The school became one of the 4 largest academies in the region. Besides the boarding school, many houses came with its own school. In this house built by the clansmen returning from Malaysia, the school was in the watchtower in the rear building. The youngest son became a commander in Dongjiang Team, a CCP-led military force in Guangdong Province. General Yeting also studied at a school next to his house in Zhoutian village before attending military schools. The Ye clan's school system was an important factor for so many military talents emerging from this clan. Today, the descendants of this Ye clan are estimated to be 30,000 to 50,000. Many are in Malaysia. The Chinese solar term awakening of insect is a big day for them. It was on this day of 1662 that their ancestors started the migration. Each year on this day, representatives of descendants from around the world would gather at the tomb of the older brother to commemorate their ancestors and to celebrate the migration 3 centuries ago.